What's up, y'all? Welcome back. This video is so far overdue that I briefly considered not even doing it. I was like, does anybody care? Because this is gonna be kind of an undertaking. So it's not even a speed reviews video. This is me giving final thoughts on everything that I have reviewed so far this year that I haven't gotten a chance to give y'all final thoughts on. And it's a great touch point, right? If you haven't watched every single one of my videos this year, this is a great touch point to catch up and see how I feel about certain things, especially if you've been having like burning questions about them. There's also a good chance I forgot some stuff, so put that down in the comments and we might do a part 2. But before we jump in, y'all, I am so happy to be partnering with Ana Luisa again this year and kicking it off with their Mother's Day campaign. So I have a fresh crop of gorgeousness here on my ear bobs and my wrist bobs. But first, I want to kind of like spend a minute thinking and talking about Mother's Day and what it has come to mean for me, because yes, I'm a mom. Yes, I have a wonderful mom, but I kind of want to talk about like the women in my life that have made such a huge difference for me lately in like self-mothering and actually like sisterhood. And this is a huge part of my life that I don't get to share that often like on my videos because there's not that big of an opportunity to, but like I used to have a really big blind spot for having strong female friendships in my life, and only in the last like couple of years have I A, allowed room for that and like consciously allowed room for it, and B, had those friends, those female friends who are like willing to go more than half the distance to like meet me where I was at and kind of pull me out into vulnerability. And can I just tell you like how my life has blossomed since then, and like the support system I feel like I have now in not just like reparenting myself, but also in being able to be a friend. And the best thing about it has been that it is actually the beauty space that has brought me to these friendships. This is a job that by definition is pretty lonely. I'm literally alone in a room talking to a camera that, yes, I'm speaking to y'all, but it's kind of like on very specific terms. I didn't think I was going to make like coworker friends. And the fact that it's beauty that has brought me to some of the most brilliant and inspiring and creative women I've ever known in my entire life that I feel so lucky to know. What it's really led me to is unpacking the biases that I had internalized over the years of how I thought that beauty was vapid, or feeling beautiful was vapid, or liking beautiful things was vapid. And I will now ride so hard for that not being the case, for defending the fact that like beauty is power and that reclaiming our beauty is something that actually helps the collective. And I always say I surround myself with beautiful women inside and out in hopes that it will rub off on me. And hopefully some of it has. I do feel like a much stronger individual who's living exactly where she's supposed to be right now. And it has everything to do with like the sisterhood and this like really like open exchange of ideas that I have with the women that I found in my life only in the last few years. So anyway, I wanted to share with y'all the items that I am wearing in the spirit of making myself feel beautiful and adorned, because when it comes to gold jewelry, some is good and more is better, okay? Like, y'all have asked me to share like my jewelry collection, and that is forthcoming, but this is a really good taste of like where I get my stuff, you know what I mean? Like if you ever see beautiful like gold-plated jewelry on me that's not installed by a piercer, it is almost guaranteed to be from Ana Luisa. So if you're unfamiliar with Ana Luisa, they're my favorite jewelry company because they do gold-plated jewelry that is all from recycled gold. So they're not taking on any of the like environmental impact or the overhead costs of mining new like virgin gold, I guess you would call it. And so they're carbon neutral. They're really like going the extra mile to make sure that their footprint is as small or invisible as possible. And they also have now branched out into some other metals. They do, I mean, I think they've done sterling for a while, but they're doing more sterling. And then, this isn't even a metal, they've moved into tortoiseshell. Tortoiseshell is one of my kinks, okay? Like, put it in tortoiseshell and I am on board. So we have these gorgeous tortoiseshell earrings. Look at them. And yes, I do like put them underneath my plugs. Never been a problem for me on, you know, any hoops. A lot of the stuff actually from Ana Luisa, I don't think I've ever encountered anything that's like too heavy to wear underneath my plugs. So these are unbelievably cool, and they have other tortoiseshell ones too, but like these were just so excellent. And then this is actually just one earring right here. It's the illusion of 2 earrings, which is cool because the Claire's piercer wronged me when I was like 14, you know, on my second hole. And so I have this really, really low earring hole right here. And I was like considering doing like a constellation piercing or something like that, but this actually works really well. So it looks like I have 2 piercings right there, which would actually fit just fine. So this is really lovely. It's got this beautiful little green stone on it. It goes with my little installed green Libre right there. And then this is actually kind of an updated version of one that I had in the past that I still, you know, wore the daylights out of, but like I love this like watch band vibe, right? It's just so luxurious, and it's not a watch because like I'm not bothering with a watch, you know? So yeah, I love the way that like the gold goes with my complexion. I'm definitely I'm definitely a gold jewelry girl, but all their stuff starts at like $39, and they're currently running buy one, get one 60% off on all of their jewelry. So definitely get in for Mother's Day. If you're looking for gifts or to just gift yourself, you kind of can't go wrong. They've got a lot of different styles. I fall in love with a new piece every time I look at their website, so be careful. It's a phenomenal way to gift for Mother's Day that won't break the bank and is really, really impressive and heartfelt. So thank you to Ana Luisa for inviting me to partner with y'all for another year, and y'all can look forward to some more beautiful gold jewelry here on my channel. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into this massive box of things that all need final thoughts. I started scrolling through looking at, you know, what I've filmed and posted for the last, you know, 4 or 5 months or so, and they all feel like ancient history to me. But that's kind of good because it means that I like had my thoughts collected and moved on. So I want to get one thing out of the way really fast, mainly because it's taking up so much room in the box. Look, don't hate me, but like, I just had the realization how similar these are. This is the Byredo Remembrance palette, and it's $105. And then this is the Revolution Beauty Maxi Reloaded Large It Up palette that is $18 at Ulta if you pay full price for it. And I used this on my eyes today, and I had an easier time than I do with the Byredo palette. Okay. And I don't think that I've misled y'all in any way about the Byredo palette. I hope not, at least. I think I've had misgivings about it the whole way, knowing that it was not going to be a perfect palette, but I think that the biggest disappointment here has been just the wear time, the actual performance of the eyeshadows. It's just not really there. And it makes it so that I don't really want to reach for it because I'm like, it's a lot of work to build the colors, and I love the colors, but hey, guess what? They live in here too. And this wears a long time, and it's $18. So I did... Bunch of ravens just gathered at a tree outside. Nope. And typically I would defend the artistry of a concept and the beauty of packaging and interacting with it, and that being such a huge part of the experience. But like I said, this is an easier formula for me to use. It wears longer, and I don't really like the packaging of the Byredo palette. I don't really like this compact. It's just not that appealing to me. So I like this, I will continue using it, but I don't recommend buying it. I do still recommend buying this. If you're into the same kinds of colors that I am, these pinks, apricots, I mean, honestly, like, this has every color in it that like I want to wear. And some of them I think are like doubles, you know what I mean? It feels almost random. They were just like, I don't know, just put some more stuff in there. That's the vibe. That's the vibe, and don't pay $105 for it. You're welcome. Okay, so jumping right in, we have the Jones Road bronzers. Have I made any real use of these? No. The pink one is too pigmented for being, I mean, granted, I did see Nicolette Panisi talk about using it. I think something else came up in my squirrel brain that like I didn't end up finishing the reel. Yeah, I cannot even stay tuned for an entire short form video right now. That's how it is. That's how my brain is right now. But she was talking about using this on an olive complexion and like maybe that would work. I don't know. It was too pigmented and stampy for me, and these are not inexpensive. And then we have the, you know, a better shade, which is the light tan. Still, even though it's a good shade, it's an okay formula. There are just better bronzers out there, and I mean, it's, if you like it, that's cool. I don't think you're gonna go wrong, but like this is not a run, do not walk situation. Neither of these is. Maybe these will be speedy. Look at me. Vanessa Myers, a while back, put out these Yummy Skin blushes, right? And I did say, yes, they're very, very pigmented. Hello? What is wrong with me today? They're tough to use for a very fair-skinned person, but they're actually like pretty cool, you know, like they're a really cool formula. I managed to make it work today. And how I did that was mixing it with a little bit of complexion product on the back of my hand. So like it is doable. And I think that this is, again, a good release, but I think it is specifically for deep skin tones. And, or if you really just like are willing to work with it, mix it with a serum on your skin or something like that, totally fine. But like we are talking holy macaroni. This is pretty much the same color, right, as like the Charlotte Tilbury ones. Actually, it's even more orange. Bellini is even more orange than that Charlotte Tilbury one. So yeah, it's just more extreme, and like that's gonna be really good news for some people. And honestly, I could totally see somebody who's really into blush draping. Tom, like maybe I'll give this to Tom. I think Tom would really enjoy this and at least getting to try it. Who knows if they'll keep it in their actual collection, but like I would love to see their take on it kind of thing, because Tom uses one of the most vivid orange blushes from Pat McGrath that I have ever seen and does an amazing job blush draping with it. So it depends on your needs, but this was a little too difficult for me to use, but I respect the heck out of the formula. Another Black owned brand that again, I really feel like is making products that I might have a chance of enjoying if I'm lucky, you know, but it's not necessarily predominantly designed for my skin type. So, you know, this is a really, really beautiful, actual effective translucent powder, but this is not for people who just want like a light dusting of powder. It is so mattifying. It's really, really blurring, but like your girl needs so much moisture right now, okay? And like this just does too much. So highly recommend if you are like the Jackie Aina skin type where it's like you could powder before you put on your foundation. Like this is that, but it's not for me, and I wouldn't particularly run out and buy it if you seem to share my tastes in powders. Miracle Balm. Yes, I know we have reviewed Miracle Balm before, but this Miami Beach shade was the first one that I tried where I was like, yes. If my skin were better, yes. This is really excellent. Sticky, yes, yes. It's very still like beach skin to me, but like the color is so wonderful and it has so much more pigment to it than some of the ones that I had tried before that it does get my stamp of approval if you are a Jones Road girly. Do you know what I mean? Like it is an entire mindset. I feel like Jones Road is a mindset. If you want something that like dries down and has like an elegant hybrid finish or something, skip this. It's not gonna do that. But if what you want is something that's kind of actively hydrating your skin all day, like a skincare product, and you don't mind that your hair might stick to it, maybe give it a shot. I think it's the prettiest color yet. Let's talk about these Pat McGrath bronzers. I am having trouble getting into them. They're good, but they're not giving bronzer. You know what they're giving? They're giving a powder version of this. And if I start to think about it like that, it makes more sense. So this is the Makeup by Mario, you know, Soft Sculpting Transforming Skin Enhancer, Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. It's covered in cat hair, it's disgusting, but it's this like gel formula that goes on so sheerly, I really can't show that on camera. It goes on so sheerly that it isn't actually like a bronzer in the sense of making you look like you've been out in the sun, right? It's more of like a skin enhancer that just very softly changes the color of your foundation to make it just look a little bit more like healthy, a little bit richer. It kind of changes the color of your complexion, but it's not I just don't think of it as like a bronzer. And like, that's kind of how I feel about these. I think they're like the exact same formula as the Divine Blushes. And I mean, that is, by the way, Naked Desire. And that's the one that I'm wearing today. And like, I like it, but it doesn't give me like instant sex appeal like other bronzers that are like out here in the bronzer category do. So it's like the difference between like a Makeup by Mario powder bronzer or the stick bronzer and this like very lightweight gel skin enhancer. Like that's how I feel about these. I'm like, they just kind of like, they're good. I'll put a little bit more on, but like they build so slowly. I'm just not getting the sex appeal. Do you know what I mean? And that might be good news for someone like, oh yeah, that's right, Natalie, my skintrist, she loves it because she's so fair. So I don't know how the deeper ones behave. if they build as slowly as this, I think that you might get really frustrated. Because it's not even that like they're quote unquote low pigment. They're not like dusty, but like it just doesn't really happen very fast. I might have a change of heart on this eventually, like if I keep using it and keep trying it in different scenarios, but at least for now, like it's just kind of giving, it works, but it's not a home run for me. You know what I mean? It's not making a big enough difference in my routine that I would want a powder version of something that I really, really enjoy in like a hybrid gel. This is an easy one, okay? This is the Kosas Glow IV. We all had really high hopes for this. And honestly, like Kosas putting out a sunscreen separate from this, you start to get the feel that like they said, you know, maybe we like separate the glow from the screen. Because the Dream Beam is not quite so glowy. It's actually like a little bit pearlescent, but not like this. This was sold to us, and not, I mean, it was sent to me, but it was sold to us conceptually as something that was going to be able to be like applied all over the face as, again, like a perfector, like a, you know, something Makeup by Mario might conceive of. You know, no, it's a liquid eyeshadow, okay? That's a liquid highlighter, and it really does pack as much pigment, as much reflection and like actual, I don't know, like shimmer particles as an eyeshadow. And it does, I'm not 100% sure like what the shimmer particle is in here, but it's giving mica. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a round pearlized kind of pigment particle. It is giving kind of erratic pigment particle, which what accentuates texture. And I just wasn't a fan. I just wasn't a fan. I couldn't get it to work. And I saw people with much younger skin still not be able to get it to work. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it has a really distinct dry down, which again is something I associate with a liquid highlight, which I guess it is technically a liquid highlight, a vitamin infused skin, they're calling it a skin enhancer, which that's what this is. I don't know. I don't think it's a firm category yet, but it dries down almost as much of a matte texture as a shimmer can. You know what I mean? Like it's super shimmery, it's super iridescent, but it's not dewy. Whereas you look at something like the Milk Makeup Bionic Glow, and that's gonna give you like this beautiful dewy finish in addition to it being a highlighter. And I think that that's kind of where we lose the plot on this, is like, well then where does it go? Because if it's gonna give shimmer, but it's gonna give matte, it's gonna give texture. That's just what it's gonna do, even if you didn't think you had it there. Now here is a highlighter that I do, if I were a highlighter girl, which I'm not, then this would be one of my faves. It's so smoothing and it's so blurring. So this is the Rare Beauty highlighter. She doesn't put her cute names on the package, it just says highlighter. I'm sure it has a really cute name. All of her stuff is really punny, but this is the shade Enlighten. My only complaint is that they all kind of like seem really fragile. The one shade that I would typically wear actually was broken and I had to repress it. And like, who cares? I got them in PR, but like if you ordered them, you would feel kind of thawed if that happened. So yeah, this is already kind of cracking up a little bit just from like, you know, normal use, normal wear and tear. But I like that it just presented itself as a gosh darn highlighter, okay? They're not trying to be like, it's 2023. We don't call things highlighters anymore. It's like, nope, it's a highlighter. And I really liked her liquid highlighter too. So again, if I were a highlighter girly, this would be a highlighter I would wear. It looks really milky and creamy on the skin. It's very, very pretty and it comes in a ton of shades. I'm not a highlighter girly, but that's a really pretty one. I do think it's time we knock out some foundations. So let's start with the Terracotta Lata, especially when it comes to foundations, because it's something that you would technically be electing to use every single day. I feel that I do have to build in the cost in my analysis of whether or not I think it's good. You know, because your likelihood to finish an eyeshadow palette is pretty low. Your likelihood to finish a foundation is pretty high, and I don't want to recommend something to someone, especially at this kind of price point, that's gonna make their life harder. So I did order 2 of the Terracotta Lata from Guerlain, and I did it because their shade range is so stupid, okay? And this is 0N and it's wildly yellow. This is 0C and it's a match for me. For the record, I am an NC15 in MAC. I am a Bobbi Brown, like 0 warm or something. The fact that I had to buy Cool Rose for a neutral match is pretty silly. It means that a lot of people are gonna end up with the wrong shade if they're just buying it on the internet, which a lot of people are. So that's one big misgiving. I think this is like $67 or something wild like that. That's right, I take it all for the team. I take it for y'all, but I don't really recommend this because of the price point. I don't think it's an elegant enough formula to justify the price point really for anybody. Like, I get it. It's not necessarily for my skin type. I do think that like it being a radiant matte is a little bit odd. It's like they're trying to be something for everybody and not really anything for anybody. And you know, that's the thing, is like I can only kind of judge based on my own experience, but as like a 36-year-old woman trying to make this work in any capacity that made my skin look healthy, it just wasn't happening. And I just feel like there are too many caveats for me to recommend this when there's just such a wide world of gorgeousness happening at an even lower, well, a much lower price point in most cases than this. Oddly, the same kind of goes for the Bobbi Brown. I just got this in PR, but I found it to be, again, a little bit kind of too matte for me. And I mean, it is the Skin Long Wear Weightless Foundation. So it is, I think, you know, natural finish, skin finish kind of thing. But like, I just want my skin to look better than that, okay? And it did. It kind of gave pores, it kind of grabbed powder, and it was just like a little bit unflattering. Like, I just felt like it was gathering in all of my little, like, you know, flex lines on my face and stuff, and it's just not something that can go over into thirsty skin. So if you got thirsty skin, steer clear of this one. I don't even know if I can really give a legit review on this because it's so green. So this is the Gucci Eternité de Beaute 24-hour wear breathable foundation. I don't understand why this was such a bad match for me because I had the last Gucci foundation, and while it wasn't a formula that particularly appealed to me, the shade match was fine. And I don't remember it being terrible. This is like legendarily bad. So this is 120N fair. Like, it should just be a neutral shade. And I'm always kind of careful about being over the top talking about like, my eyes detect this, you know, wild variance in shade or whatever undertone, because a lot of people are like, you see things that I don't see. Well, everybody saw this one. Ah, it's so green. Oh, it's so green. The longer it sits there, the greener it gets. And so, like, you know, maybe I'll find a green friend and give it to them. I think it's too saturated for Hannah, and I think it's too light for Nicolette, and I think it's too light for Ingrid, but who knows? Maybe I'll find somebody that wants it. But like, another one where it's like the shade range failed us so quickly out of the gate that like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares if it's a good foundation if the shade range is that stupid? So I think I remembered it being okay, but not worth the money. Sorry, that's an inconclusive one, but like, I couldn't wait to get it off of my face, if that tells you anything. It was just a bizarre look. I'm not gonna stay here long. This is fantastic. I'm wearing it today. This is the Givenchy Prism Libre Skin Caring Concealer. It's just really good. It's just really good for the under eyes. It doesn't crease, it's creamy, it's hydrating, it's beautiful. My skin is under duress right now. And this is actually, do you know what I'm wearing with this? As my foundation. I just got this. This is the MAC Studio Fix Everywhere All Over Face Pen. So they said all over, so I, by God, put it all over. I used it as a foundation today, and again, this is an NC15, and I think that it's such a good shade match. I am honestly sometimes in denial about how pale I am, and when I put this on, I was like, oh, ghost, but as I blended it out, I was like, well, it matches my neck. We gotta be honest, okay? Like, we'll do the work with the bronzer, but like, I just had to be honest, like, that's still my skin tone. The match that they gave me when I was 18 years old is still my match. So yeah, and then I put this on top of it and they worked beautifully together. All hail silicones. All hail them. Okay, so those were the foundations and the concealers. I do want to talk about this because I'm wearing it today, and like, I was going through all the stuff that I had not given final thoughts on, and I was like, why have I not been using this more? I used it today and I'm so glad that I did. My skin looks better than it's looked in days. I have been trying to reclaim any kind of smoothness and dewiness. And what ends up happening is a lot of times I end up building up too much skincare on my skin, and then I put my foundation on and like everything goes to hell. It's awful. So this being a primer, but also a dewy primer, helped immensely. So this is the Ciate London Dewy Skin Vitamin C Glass Glow Primer, and yes, girl, yes. It's so good. Like, my skin looks so much better than it has in a really long time, and like, I didn't feel like I had to cover as much because I was just like, oh, like, I like the finish of my skin and that's enough for me right now. I'm like okay with the flaws outside of that. So this is staying front and center. This should have been in my top shelf video, but I literally have no object permanence, and so I put it away and forgot about it. I hate that we're like subject to that phenomenon on my channel. If you haven't heard from me recently on lips, let's go into some lips here. So this is the Hourglass Balmy Glossy Balm. Not to be confused with the Ilia Balmy Glosses. Right? Either way, this is one of those delivery systems where it's like it can hardly be contained because it's so glossy, and so you crank this up and you put it on and it's pretty high pigment, but it's plumping and it spreads out really evenly and the colors are gorgeous and I can't say enough about them. I think that they're lovely, and not just because of like how elegant they are on the lips, you know, cosmetically beautiful, whatever. I like interacting with them. They're metal, they're nice, they make me happy, okay? I just like them. They're gold, and as we have learned, I'm into gold, so I'm a fan of those. I'm also a fan of these are very different, but these new Make Beauty lipsticks. Like, can I pretty much make an excuse to shy away from them at any given time? Absolutely, but I respect the hell out of the formula. Because they came out not just with a really great, tenacious and nourishing and creamy formula that's really easy to wear, but also there are so many shades. They went, here are a lot of reds, here are a lot of like browns and nudes, here's a blue, a purple, a black, you know what I mean? Like there's just so much. There are 20 shades and they're gorgeous. So I think that this is really lovely, and I think, yes, it's refillable. So we love to see it. Another lip product that I am very impressed by, these are the Rare Beauty lip oils, the new ones, it's the Soft Pinch because it goes with a Soft Pinch blush. Really, really enjoy these. The only thing that I want to caution against is the whole idea here is that they stain. They do two things. They kind of do a little bit of a plumping irritation on the lips, which I don't mind at all. It kind of goes away pretty quickly, but they do leave a stain behind. So if you are someone who loves that, it's a beautifully elegant stain. It really is. Like, it's a very consistent stain. It's a little bit hot pink. So like, you know, it's that vibe. But if you're not into that, I wouldn't recommend them because like it's definitely unavoidable. So they're really beautiful. They come in a lot of, again, just absolutely lovely shades, but you know, they are very specifically what they are. And I actually really appreciate that it's not just like another throwaway lip oil kind of thing. Like they fully committed to a concept, and they're as unique, I feel like, as the liquid blushes are, you know, to the lip category. Rare Beauty really has just been quietly coming out of the gate with things constantly, haven't they? So this is the under eye brightener. This is a pass for me. First of all, like if I'm gonna go for an under eye brightener, which I did today, I'm gonna go for something. I use the Beauty Pie one. It's very similar to the Becca one. It's a little bit less oily, but like I love the nourishing nature of that formula, and I use it to color correct on top of pimples. I know that's kind of weird. You would think I'd want to use green, but like that doesn't work for me. This works for me. So you look at that color, and it actually has like a little bit of radiance to it too, which I appreciate, but this color doesn't make any sense as a brightener for me. It just doesn't really do enough. And then also this being the way that you apply it makes no sense to me. It's a metal tip and it doesn't soak up any product. So, I mean, obviously it doesn't soak up any product, but it doesn't pick up any product. It's shaped like this kind of like glass onion, you know? So it's got little contours on the outside of it that I think are supposed to pick it up a little bit, but like it doesn't apply it evenly. I think it's just kind of a fail in terms of the delivery system, which is a shame because I think it's a good concept and they did come out with, you know, a handful of shades, but like I'm always gonna go towards something like that, especially the color. In fact, there are very few under eye brighteners that I've used or color correctors that I've used that come in a tube that I really love. Like I need something that's actually more skincare based personally. Like that's just the consistency of a color corrector that I like. Another lip product here, we have the About Face Cherry Pick Lip Color Butters. And I watched Hannah actually get a chance to try these for the first time recently. And she said that they were cherry scented. And I was like, oh, maybe that's what they're, because it smells like kind of like artificial peach to me. But it would make sense that they're called cherry pick, that they would be cherry scented, but I guess I'm just not that fluent in artificial fragrances. But either way, these are awesome, especially for the price, but they're just awesome, okay? They're not plumping, and you do have to get past that smell because it's very, very strong, but the colors are outstanding and the formula is wonderful. So they do have a little pushy here, and then I did do a reel trying all of these on, but like the colors are just so well conceived and they're so shiny and beautiful, and I'm tempted to put that on. What would happen if I did that? no, no. I have too much peach on my face for that. And I worked too hard on said peach. So nonetheless, the colors, I highly recommend going and checking out that reel because seeing all the colors in action is pretty impressive. They did a really good job here. I'm just generally impressed by About Face overall. Here's one that I was a little less impressed by, and that is the new Hourglass ones. The Hourglass Unlocked, I think it's Unlocked, right? Unlocked lipsticks. Yeah, so mainly because they all looked like they were gonna be so nuanced and desaturated and luxurious looking, and they just weren't, okay? And that kind of bugs me. Like, that's just a garden variety peachy pink, okay? Like, you know, desaturated, light skin friendly kind of, you know, pretty nude color, but like, that is not the color that was on the internet, okay? And I didn't buy it because I wanted a good, chill peach lip color. I like my own lip color more than I like that. So like, I was pretty disappointed there. And then they sent me this one. This is Tropic. And again, like, beautiful, beautiful, but like, these are so on the nose. The colors are so on the nose. Like, there's no nuance to them at all. And that was just why I found them unappealing, because of the color. And that actually makes me remember something that I did forget to pull out. And so I will pull it out right now. Y'all remember La Perla? Remember when I spent a whole bunch of money reviewing La Perla? I feel like that one kind of went under the radar. Quickly, I haven't used the liquid eyeliner because it gets stuck in my eyelashes, but it's pretty. Like, if you're the kind of person who likes a liquid eyeliner, I don't necessarily recommend going out and buying this one just because I think that the delivery system is pretty obnoxious, but like, it wasn't horrible, you know? And it was long wearing, but I don't like it when they get stuck in my eyelashes. And it really says something that I don't remember anything about this mascara. Like, maybe I'll use it again. I completely forgot about it. But I also think that it's because I stopped using, I'm pretty sure this is a normal mascara, like a normal wash off mascara. And I think I stopped using normal wash off mascaras when I got that big gooey eyeball. I had a sty and I just went straight towards the loving arms of my tubing mascaras. So anyway, we're gonna talk about these lipsticks real quick because these also looked like they were going to be a lot more nuanced on the internet, and then they weren't. And it just makes me feel like maybe I'm going crazy. They're pretty, and they're two different formulas that are very similar colors. So we have cinnamon red and espresso lips, and they're very, very similar. But one is like a, you know, a full cream lipstick, and then the espresso lips is a balm. So, beautiful, beautiful. Honestly, like, so lovely. This is the balm. It's got this lovely apricot color to it, and I've been meaning to pull it back out because I think it's so pretty. But like, we're right in line with that Hourglass color where it's like, so? You know what I mean? Like, sure, I'm all here for a luxury moment, but like, make it special. It can't just be the packaging that's special. It's a damn good color though. It is a damn good color. But I have to like bear in mind, it's like, okay, there are people who are luxury lipstick people and there are people who aren't. And I'm not going to be the person who's trying to convert you if you're not. That's it. That's it and that's all. That's the tweet. Was that it on lip products? I think so. All right, let's talk about some blushes real quick. Y'all already know how I feel about the new Armani blushes. I want all of them. I just really like them. I like the formula. I like the way that they go on. I like the colors. I don't think that they're like the most uniquely conceived thing I've ever used in my life, but they're kind to texture on my skin. They really apply like just at the right pace for me, and I just really like them. I enjoy using them. I enjoy the entire experience. I feel like they were just presented to me in a way that set my expectations accordingly, and I really enjoy the result. This is one that I've hardly reached for at all. I feel like the color might just be a little too pink, oddly enough. So this is the new is it new khaki? The Cloud Crush from Too Faced and Tequila Sunset. I really just found the component very appealing. I wish I liked the blush more, especially for the price. I think they're like $40 or something crazy. $30? I don't remember. They're expensive for this little guy, and they're fine. They're fine, but it's not as ingenious of a formula. It doesn't really like stick in my mind palace as anything particularly unique. Another blush that I have here is the Cool V blushes, which this is the color that I like. This is Sandalwood Swirls. And this is a brand where it's like, you do have to bear in mind that it is very medium and deep skin and olive skin friendly. And so for people who are complected like me, you're not going to find quite as many shades that cater specifically to you. You know what I mean? It's not like going into those Armani blushes where it's just like I could really use almost all of them. Like this is the shade that works for me and a lot of them don't. But the formula is awesome and it does have a little bit of like a radiant finish on it. And I just think it's cool what they did. Kulfi is another brand where I'm just kind of like, you know, watching with great interest. They just are doing very interesting things. Another one that really knocked my socks off, we did a big couple of deep dives on Ciroc. I'm not gonna cover every single Ciroc product in here because good God, that's like an entire, like just go watch the 2 videos. Do you know what I mean? Like it could be a whole series. But a standout product for me actually, surprisingly, were these blushes, especially this color Cantaloupe, because you're like, oh, that's gonna be really sheer and it's gonna disappear and I'm gonna find it unimpressive. No, it's actually so incredibly beautiful. And it is sheer, it is. And I don't think that the actual little sponge tip delivery system is all it's cracked up to be. I think that Ciroc does kind of fall flat on their components in a lot of ways. Like in their attempts to be different for different sake kind of thing, like, you know, their weighted eyebrow pencil, that's a whole nother story. But this shade Cantaloupe, I need to use it more. It needs to also be out here front and center because it does such a good job of like building a beautiful blush draping kind of wash before I go in with things that are a little bit more saturated. And the finish on it makes your skin look great. It just looks really healthy and nourished and like that's it dried down. So I'm a huge fan of these. I think they're really beautiful. I have a bronzer that I know I already talked about the Pat McGrath bronzer, but we're kind of working through randomly at that point. Tarte, in their attempt to name everything Shape Tape, they did kind of miss on this one. I feel like the Sculpt Tape Contour, it's not the color that I want to contour with, and it's not as good as the Charlotte Tilbury ones. It just isn't. So, I mean, I get it. It seems like kind of a young product. You know, it's kind of targeted towards someone who like, maybe they're not really looking to like actually like chisel. They're looking for more of a bronzer, you know, maybe, but I still recommend the Charlotte Tilbury one more. And also why does this look like you tried to get a stock photo but not pay for it? That's what this packaging looks like to me. It's just how I feel. Let's talk about eyeshadow. That's what we have left here. So we have, oh, yes. Just, you know, 10 out of 10 would repurchase, would buy again, would recommend to anybody. The Victoria Beckham eyewear, they're just fantastic. So they wear a long time. The color story is awesome. They're really easy to use. They're really fun to use. And that is those are the 2 big tenets of my channel. Makeup should be easy and fun. Like, these are easy and fun. You get really cool results out of them. It's a winner. It's just a home run of a release, as far as I'm concerned. Home run of a lipstick. This color is really good for the look that I had on. I'm pretty pleased with that little game time decision. Kulfi eyeshadows. Like I said, I'm into everything that Kulfi is doing right now, and these are they're just great. Bronze Brocade has made its way into so many eye looks for me. It really is like up there with Hourglass Ray in terms of just like, I need that. Yeah. So I mean, do you need every single color? Probably not, but like they did a good job with the colors that they did. Now here are some that I think are really cool. These are from Flavato and Albedo, and they are a very small like indie brand that they sent me these. And the shadows have that suede vibe to them that you'll encounter with, I mean, everything from like the House Labs bronzer to even, I don't know, like the Ciroc shadows. Like I would almost liken them to that. They have this really awesome grip to them. Kind of also reminds me of the original like 4Play Everyday Quads from Makeup by Mario, in the sense that like you kind of stick your finger in there and you feel it grip. And it's a really, really nice, secure feeling. So they wear a long time, and it's even a little bit kind of like the Lisa Eldridge ones, you know, where they've got like so much grip to them that you know that they're gonna like have a lot of tenacity. The reason that I don't reach for these as much is just because I'm not a huge fan of these colors, because they ended up all being very cool toned on me. And I am, you know, much more of like a warm toned girly on my eyes. So like, are those beautiful? Unequivocally. Absolutely. Like those are so beautiful, but like this shade right here, which is called Cool Bronze, it's too cool on me. I need the warmth, and like that's the only reason I ever reach for them, but like if they expand that shade range, girl, I'm gonna be all over it because the formula is dynamite. Certainly not new to the market, but new to me. This has become my quad of life. And this is the Ciroc quad. I'm gonna tell you all the shades again. We've got Chocolat Noir, Ombre, Haute Chocolate, and Chamois. This is a custom palette. They did send this to me, although I ordered one before that. That didn't end up working out as well for me because I just kind of didn't know what I was looking at with the shades, but the formula is off the charts and these 4 shades have become like my mainstay palette. Period. Like I cannot say enough about the formula, but it is like a very reliable kind of luxury formula in the sense of like it being pretty subtle, blends itself, you know, but it's not going to give you like wild textures, at least not in that particular delivery system. What I have on my eyes today is Ciroc though. This is the Ciroc little guy here, the prismatic eyes. So, I mean, I have other things on my eyes as well, but this is what I topped it with. Again, I used that $18 palette from Makeup Revolution, but I started with this and then I finished with that because, you know, they can pull the drama. It's just not in that particular quad. Huge fan of this also. Oh, and I'm wearing Oyster from Victoria Beckham on the inner corner. All right, we have the Amicole mascara, another one that I stopped using because I am too much of a toddler to wash mascara out of my eyes apparently. And so I, you know, got myself a fresh little eye infection, and it was not because of this being old or anything being contaminated or anything. It's literally just I am irresponsible. And so I can't say enough about this mascara for people who like a regular wash off mascara. It's beautiful. It really does everything that I want in mascara. It's kind of matte. It has like lengthening and volumizing properties to it, and it holds a curl. It's lightweight. It's just a really, really excellent mascara, and I love the component. I love this orange component. I guess Hermes did that to us, but like orange just makes me think like modern luxury, and I don't know why, but like I just think that all the right choices were made here. I love it. And the last thing here is the Kosas Dream Beam, right? This, again, we talked about that liquid highlighter, and this is the, I feel like the other half of the glow screen as it were, but I really like this. It does have a kind of dewy presence on the skin, and like I think I'm gonna be able to get into it more in the summertime, but it does make my makeup behave differently. Not necessarily badly. It's not gonna like completely ruin a face of makeup, but it does change it. And lately I've been needing to really manipulate my base in order to make my makeup stick so that like I can keep coverage where I need it. And this is definitely more for people who like a dewy appearance. It doesn't really dry down on its own or anything, and it's very, very pretty, but like if you build this up the way that you're supposed to build up an SPF on your skin, you're gonna end up with slip. It's slippy. So not a bad thing, not a drawback, just a fact, you know? Oh my gosh, you know, they did end up being speed reviews, but I still ended up filming for over an hour. So hopefully this was enlightening for y'all. Hopefully this was a good touch point. Again, I probably forgot some stuff, so leave those down below, and we might have to do a part 2 of this video to just kind of tie up all the loose ends, but this is a nice thing for me to do to clear my head. It's kind of like doing an empties video. This is a fulls video. All right, I need to get off camera. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me and for watching today and for being with my channel and for allowing me to review all these gosh darn products. I hope you'll check out Ana Luisa for Mother's Day and beyond. They are one of my favorite companies to work with, one of my favorite companies to own products from. They make me feel beautiful every time I interact with their stuff. So yeah, I have my link down below. Buy one, get one 60% off on their website right now for Mother's Day. And thank you to Ana Luisa for continuing to partner with me on my channel. And I'll put a video up here that I think that y'all will enjoy. If you liked this one, please do give this one a thumbs up. If you also enjoyed this one, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.